Well, according to the notification on the top of my screen, it shows that we're live. So, welcome to our weekly episode of SCV Chat. Let's start with a normal introduction. The views, opinions, and everything else expressed on the show are not necessarily the views and opinions of the National Sons of Confederate Veterans, any division, brigade, camp, or other subsidiaries of the organizations. They're expressly the views and opinions of those sharing them. I'm one of your hosts, GCB, and welcome. We're back on our normal timeline schedule after our wonderful Constitution Day episode. If you missed it, the video should still be up on our past broadcasts, as well as we have a new YouTube channel that we'll bring up here in a second. Just wanted to give everybody a second to get their cameras back on. It's the AS there, and looks like MDS is there, and he has a doll.
I'm America.
Captain America.
And we have the producer with us. And of course, I'm one of your hosts, GCB. So welcome everybody. How was y'all's weeks?
Yeah. Great.
We missed you Thursday, AS.
Yeah, I missed y'all. But y'all didn't need me. You had Carl Jones, and I'm sure he knocked it out of the park. I'm one of those that needs to go into the chat and watch last week's episode.
It really was really good. We had him and we had Ryan Walters. Both of them. Carl's a member of the Sons. I'm not sure if Ryan is or not, but he is a writer for the Abbeville Institute. And they both did a fantastic job talking about the history of the United States Constitution and bringing it up as a sort of a comparison and contrast with the Confederate Constitution and their opinions, which one's superior. But yeah, definitely go back and watch it. It was good. It was very.
Yeah, you learned a lot from old Carl.
Really
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah. And of course, he had the best introduction of all time. It matches his acceptance speech from this past July, and it was, "Hey, I'm Carl."
Thank you.
That's all he needed.
That's all he needed. That's all it was, and it was good. So definitely go back and view that. Producer, what's the YouTube channel name? Do we have at least the name to where people can start going back?
The
and
name
reviewing
is
stuff?
same as the Twitch page. It's SCV Chat, and I will put a link down in the description so you can go to that and see the Constitution video. That's where we'll be posting all of our past episodes, so you can go and watch them at any time of your convenience.
Hopefully you'll continue to join us every Monday night live, and hopefully we'll have some social media pages go up soon, reminding people about hey, show is on this time, and do the broadcast through everywhere. So with that, any SCV news? How are things going at the museum?
Well, things are coming right on along. I've been working in the library for the past week trying to get everything in order. So I've been enjoying myself there. A lot of great War Between the States books. And, if you have anything you'd like to donate to us, any books, you can send them to us at HQ. Just contact me there.
Make sure you send them directly to the museum because I ain't carrying no more books.
Hey, we still have a couple more warehouses, Matt. But big news coming up on October 10th. We're unveiling the Jefferson Davis Monument and doing a soft opening of the museum. So all of our SCV members are invited to come to that, and I hope you will. This will be a good day for us. We've seen a lot of statues and monuments and memorials come down this past year. So it's good to see one going back up.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Speaking of the museum, I want to remind everybody about the giveaway we've got going on. All you need to do is simply, if you want to enter into the giveaway, the producer will put the email address in the chat. Just email us your shirt size, your mailing address, and you'll be added, and your first and last name, of course. And you'll be added onto our list. And whenever we do a museum episode strictly about the museum, which will be coming up relatively soon, we got a probably a little surprised about that one. We may push that weekly video back a little bit so that everybody can see what we're planning. But we'll talk about that some more. From there, we're going to give away, I believe it's an item, a T-shirt, a challenge coins, a coffee mug, and a couple of cups. You don't have to, do anything. Just enter and continue to watch for more updates. Also, SCV news, to backtrack a little bit. This past weekend, I spent the weekend with the producer, and I still think that he's probably eating the leftovers that we cooked. We had a little get together at his place in Oxford, Mississippi, with some young men who are interested in joining the SCV. If you're watching this and they are in the Oxford area, or a young person and looking to potentially start your own camp in your college town, let us know, because that's essentially what we're doing. We're looking at chartering with a pretty good number of guys, and continuing to grow. It's hopefully a new day for the within the SCV in Oxford. So that's a little bit of news I have. Besides the fact, and Mr. Producer, I don't know if you know this or not, but did you know that the university erected a monument to the enslaved people who built the university within a stone's throw of where they removed the Confederate statues?
I did not know that.
It looks like it's brand new, and it's right there beside Vardaman Hall, right there on the Lockheed Loop. And I think it's kind of ironic that they said that they were going to remove the Confederate memorial because it monumented or monumentalized the institution of slavery. Meanwhile, they erected their own monument to the institution of slavery within a stone's throw of it.
Yeah, but it's okay because they did it.
Yeah.
Be right there.
So, yeah, a little bit of hypocrisy going on a college campus, but there's no real shocker there. Now, normally at this time of the week, we go into a trivia question, but this week is trivia night.
Trivia
so we're
night.
Going to forego it because we're going to have a bunch of other trivia questions come up. And we're going to jump on into AS's favorite topic, favorite time of the week when he's on. We see a lot of gray in that beard this week, and that gray sure means it's wisdom. So AS, words of wisdom for the chat.
Keep your powder dry, boys. That's your wisdom for this week. And keep them on the scare. Keep the scare on them.
All right.
That'll work.
Well, we're of course missing J-Bo again. That's now 2 weeks, 2 episodes. J-Bo's not been on. We're gonna have to replace him. If he's watching, I hope he gets a little scared on that. But no, it's good to have most of the group back. So the trivia book that we'll be using this week is, and I hate the name of it, Civil War Trivia and Fact Book, even though it was not a Civil War. The thing I hate the most about it, I don't know if you can see it with the glare or not, but it's the burning of Richmond on the front of it. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah. No way that this book is biased. But we'll start it with a very interesting question, and I want to ask the producer if he would keep the chat unlocked. And those in the chat, remember, there are rules. Keep your language clean. Pretty much, be respectful, everything like that. If you abuse the privilege, we'll turn the chat off, and we'll just ask the questions amongst ourselves. So what I think we're actually going to do to make it interesting is, let me grab my legal pad and take my shopping list from the weekend at the producers away, because we don't need that anymore. Pop my pen so it'll work. I'm going to keep score. I'm going to keep score. And the person who gets the most correct answers, I'll do something nice for them when we come up there. In MDS, if you happen to win and you're not up at Elm Springs on October the 10th, I'll leave you the Susan Sarandon mask at your house or in your office.
At my house.
or in your office?
Just for you. Just for you.
I thought
We
you were
get a
gonna leave
full-
us the key so we could have a party.
Y'all can watch Cheech for me.
Oh yeah, that is something you missed. That AS. We are going to start start something here in the next couple weeks to figure out how to integrate it in. For those who don't know, MDS has a English bulldog who is just the sweetest thing in the world, named Chief. He is our unofficial mascot, and we're going to start
Chief.
Chief Cam every so often.
Adam's seen Chief Cam.
So we'll have
Chief
Chief Cam.
Sits in his cage and sleeps.
Chief Cam is legendary.
All right. So, starting off, what future general lent travel money to U.S. Grant when he resigned from the U.S. Army in California? Future Confederate general lent money to Grant so he could get back to Illinois after he went on a drinking spill because he missed his wife.
Longstreet.
All right. So we got one Longstreet.
Buckner.
We got a Buckner. Mr. Producer, you got a guess?
I don't have a
Producer
guess.
doesn't know. Point goes to MDS. It was Kentuckian Simon Bolivar Buckner. Went Grant some money so he could get out. All right. Who refused to eat pepper on his food? Confederate general. This entire subject we're in right now is fighting men of the CSA. Refused to eat pepper on his food, saying it gave him pains in his left leg.
Is it Hood?
No, he didn't have his left leg.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Jackson.
It is.
All right. What's your guess, Mr. Producer?
That actually does sound like something Jackson would do. So yeah, Jackson.
All right. Point goes to MDS and the producer. So here we go. Here's one that none of y'all will get, but I just want to go ahead and ask. Weighing in at 320 pounds, more or less, who was the heaviest Confederate general?
Was it Kemper?
No, it wasn't Jimmy Kemper. This guy weighed more than Jimmy Kemper.
I don't know.
I'm just gonna say Robert E. Lee. Just 'cause
Adam Southern.
Robert Lee wasn't fat, you idiot.
I know. That's why I said it.
No, it was not Adam Southern.
Connor Bond.
No, it
was
wasn't
Adam
him
Southern.
either. It was Abraham Buford.
Abraham.
Never
That sounds like
heard
a
of him.
big fella.
That sounds like a big fella.
Big Abe.
Yeah, he was from Kentucky.
He had to ride a mule.
It's way back.
Yeah. Let's be honest, guys. He probably
Put
rode
put
the
it on a
carriage.
case on.
He rode in the wagon.
Someone said Price.
That was his noble steed.
That was his number, Steve.
Yeah, the wagon.
All right.
All right. What North Carolinian cried, "Give him the cold steel," before leading 150 men against Cemetery Ridge?
Bragg. No.
Cemetery, not seminary. Cemetery. At Gettysburg.
Oh crap!
What, North Carolinian? North Carolinian?
North Carolinian.
I can't even think of a North Carolinian. But
I'm
North
not real
Carolina.
I'm not real familiar with people from North Carolina. No offense to anybody watching from North Carolina.
I know that division's gonna be after me now.
The fact that he was from North Carolina, he did not command North Carolinian troops. He commanded Virginians.
Oh,
That narrows it down
pick
a
it.
little bit.
Oh, who was charging?
Virginia.
You said Cemetery Ridge?
Cemetery Ridge.
No, I'm drawing a blank, man.
I'm drawing a blank too. I'm trying to figure out where the chat is on our live stream. Make sure they have plenty of time.
a no-go.
All right. I think they have
Give
time
up.
to answer.
Everybody
I
give
give
up.
I give up.
AS hasn't given up yet.
Oh, I've
He
given
can
up.
okay, I was gonna say he can stall the entire show on this trying to think. Armistead.
He was from North Carolina.
Hey, we
He was
had a guy in the
born
chat
in
get it right.
I thought
We
he
had a guy in
was.
the chat get it right.
A guy in the chat got it right.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Good on you, brother.
All right.
Vex.
This one.
Hey, now.
Oh yeah, that's Brian. Brian from Louisiana.
Brian from Louisiana. What's up, Brian from
Yeah.
Louisiana?
Can never pronounce his. Oh, he's originally from Mississippi, but he lives in Louisiana now. All right. This one, if AS and MDS does not get it, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
Well, I
Be
always
Who was
prepared.
I'm ready.
all right? Who was the only general officer to fight on both sides, as first as a U.S. captain and then as a CSA brigadier general?
Yeah, I know who it is. I can't think of the name. Shoot.
He's on the medal for the Franklin reunion.
Oh, Cheatham.
Tatum?
Cheatham won on the medal.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, Armstrong. General Armstrong.
Yeah, Frank Armstrong.
The savior of Elm Springs, by the way.
Yeah.
That's why I've been disappointed had y'all not got that.
Actually had a military wedding in Columbia, Tennessee.
All right. Let's see.
Do I need to add that to the tour, Adam?
What's that?
That piece of trivia you just gave me about Armstrong and that wedding in Columbia.
Yeah. He got married at Raleigh Hill. He married
All
one
right.
of the Polk family.
Huh.
Next time somebody comes to do a tour, I'll put that little piece in. All right, shoot the next one.
Trying to find a good one that we would know.
That we would know.
I'm not getting any of them, so.
It's
Well, you
made-
got the last one. You and MDS both got the okay. At First Manassas, what fellow brigadier general coined the nickname Stonewall for Thomas J. Jackson?
I should know this.
Oh God, I can hear the story in my head, but I can't hear his
Oh yeah, I
name.
can hear the story in my head too. I'm going to get
You saw the
Jacked
story
up.
this past weekend when we were watching the movie.
Yeah, I know. That's the bad thing. I watched Gods and Generals this weekend with him, and I watched that scene.
In all fairness, you watched half of it. You fell asleep at Fredericksburg.
I was performing my SCV duties all day beforehand.
That's true. I got a picture of you sleeping in the car. You look like a vampire.
No, he was not in the car. He was on the couch.
Do you know
Like not a cool vampire either. I'm talking about like one of them sparkly
that
ones.
Sandler movie, Hotel Pennsylvania? That's me.
One of the ones without hypnotherapy, right? The one who cannot do hypnotherapy.
Okay. In all fairness, I don't go to bed till like 3 a.m, so I guess I am a vampire.
No, you're a college
again, the
student.
question-
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep
Again,
last night, so
he's
I.
just a pasty redneck. Again, at First Manassas, what brigadier general coined the nickname Stonewall for Thomas J. Jackson?
Anybody answer on the chat?
Not yet, but some people accidentally kind of, because we lag behind a smidge, will comment and like catching up. I'm
Oh, so
listening.
you'll know.
Yeah, like they don't know that we've already answered it. So like I'm listening to the stream. And they just
Well,
got
I do not know the answer to this question. I feel bad that I don't, but
I feel horrible, and I feel like GCB is going to slap me next time he sees me.
No.
So will my
and fun fact, this guy also gave the Alabama Crimson Tide their nickname, at least unofficially. I haven't been able to confirm the story, but the rumor or the story I heard was, at First Manassas, this very poetic general, who I'll name in a second, was,
Got a
looking
picture
at
in
the
the chat.
reinforcements coming down Henry House Hill, and he says, "Look, here come the Alabamians, flowing like a crimson tide," because they were wearing red hats. At least that's what the way I was told.
So
but
we have
he
an
later
answer.
said, "There's Jackson standing like a stone wall." So somebody in the chat has mentioned it, has answered it. So I'll go ahead and give the answer. Bernard B. Bernard B.
Nard B.
All right. Yeah. This one, if I were to get it wrong, I would get a stern talking to from the commander in chief. What Louisiana Creole spoke French before he learned English and was second in his class of West Point in 1838?
PGT
And-
Beauregard.
Okay, I didn't even finish it.
Adam said the
I gave
cat
it.
and he.
Yeah, I kind of gave it away when I said the commander in chief would not be happy with me, didn't I?
Anybody know what's PGT stand for?
Pierre Gustave Toutant Beauregard.
There you go. You know, that was the very first general I ever learned about in the Civil War when I was in high school. And my teacher, he just loved talking about that guy. So
what did his friends call him?
I don't know.
Coon ass.
Shorty.
Shouty with an A.
Shouty.
Howdy.
Shouty Low.
Howdy.
Gus.
Gus. All right.
Gus.
Okay, is there any context with that nickname? Why
Yeah,
Gus?
Gustav. It's short for Gustav.
Yeah, but Gus.
Gustav is spelled G-U-S, so that's Gus. G-U-S-T-A-V-E.
I just heard us in the chat with the earbud saying shorty, and it is legit the craziest thing hearing your voice re-yell it again.
Whose voice?
Mine yell shorty in my earbud again. But yeah,
All
friend
right.
Beauregard.
All right, next
All
question.
right. What general gave up poker as a penance after 3 of his children died of scarlet fever in a single week during January of 1862?
I was going to say Jackson, but his previous kid has already passed away a couple years before that.
Yeah, it's not Jackson. Give us a little context. What battle? Give us a battle he was in.
No. They died of scarlet fever. What battle was the general in?
Yeah.
Ooh, do I want to be a butthole? I could really be a butthole and give you one that he was in, but people forget that he was in it. Or I could give you I'll give you 2 battles. I'll give you 2 battles and Chickamauga and the Wilderness.
Hood. No.
Close.
No, Hood wasn't in the damn Wilderness. He was at Chickamauga and the Wilderness?
He was at Chickamauga and the Wilderness.
Is it Longstreet?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Longstreet was a great poker player before the war. And when his kids died, it's like the light. The Army said that it's like the light went out of his life, and I couldn't imagine losing 3 of them. He stopped having fun, stopped drinking. He just became focused on the war. So
MS, someone beat you to that. Camp 1321 beat you to that. Looks like in the
All
chat.
right. 1321.
Let me think. Try to find another one. Okay. Who spent his first 13 months in a Confederate uniform without coming under fire or taking part in a general engagement?
Lee.
One.
Yay, he's got 3.
What's the score?
Right now, the score is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to you, 3 to AS, 1 to the producer.
All right. What do I
All
get
right.
when I win?
The mask.
The
Matt.
Susan Sarandon mask. For those that don't know, MDS's celebrity crush is Miss Susan Sarandon.
Hey, look, that is one of the hottest women on the planet. That's all I'm going to say.
So you've ruined Bull Durham for me.
You
And
have
in honor of her,
Man,
I
Bull
bought
Durham.
this
Bull
mask.
Durham's the greatest movie ever made just simply because she's in it. I could watch her paint a room for 2 hours.
That's weird.
that's nice.
All right. Here's one that I know you two will get. Not AS. Well, let's see if AS can guess it, because y'all couldn't guess it either at the beginning. Let me refine the question really quickly. All right. What lieutenant general who fought in the Atlanta campaign, Franklin and Nashville campaign, became a promoter of women's rights after the war?
Stephen D. Lee.
You're not. AS is supposed to answer that. You lose a point.
Jackass. I heard him say not answer it. Did you not hear that?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, because of that one little technicality, we'll let it pass. But did you know that about him, AS, that he was a proponent of women's rights after the war?
I did not know that.
Well, everybody should know that now, because not only did he give us the charge and make us the men who we are today, we wouldn't be here without General Lee, but he was also one of the first proponents for women's rights, which I'm guessing is women's suffrage and, overall rights. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool to know.
Yeah.
Bet y'all wish y'all had done that before you tore his statue down, huh?
No, I don't think he's lost. I don't think he's lost the statue yet.
Stephen D. Lee?
To AS though. My bad.
I don't think Stephen D. has. Where the only statues
The
I
one
know
in
of him-
Virginia.
Yeah. Are you thinking about Robert D. or Stephen D.?
Stephen D.
He had a monument in Virginia?
Yeah, when he was in the Spanish-American War.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah, they took that down too.
Are you sure that wasn't Fitzhugh?
I'm pretty sure it was Stephen D. Lee. I
Well,
might be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the Fitzhugh Lee statue. Because I don't think Stephen D. even made it. Well, he made it to 1960. Yeah, he did make it to the Spanish American. But I think during that time was when he was president of Mississippi A&M University.
We're all Googling it, aren't we?
That's exactly what's happening right now.
Oh,
J-Bo's getting on.
J-Bo's getting on. I must apologize. When earlier I said that John Bell Hood did not have a left leg. He did have his left leg. It was the right one that he lost. My bad. He very well could have thought, especially with the laudanum he was on, that the pepper made his leg itch.
I was just being facetious. I thought it was his left leg too.
It was his left arm that was all withered.
That was crippled, yeah.
All right. On to the oh wait, there's J-Bo. Look, J-Bo's on.
Yay! We were gonna spend the last half of the stream making fun of you, but we figured not.
Wait. When did we cancel that?
When
You
he
better
came
quit or we'll make
When he
fun of
came
you.
on. Anyway, J-Bo, what we're doing tonight is trivia night. We're asking trivia questions.
Okay.
So,
I don't
You're
know
behind.
much.
You
let me
still have
add-
time to catch up.
Let me add you to the score. We're scoring it, and whoever wins gets a cigar on October 10th. Right now, MDS is in the lead with 5. AS has 3. The producer has 1, and we're adding you to the board. But I believe you can catch up.
I like to protest. I think I should have 2.
You do not get to cheated.
You're
and
lucky you
lost
have
points.
1. You're lucky you have 1.
Yeah.
All right. What Virginia-born artillerist named 4 of his cannons, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John?
Pemberton.
Pemberton, you say?
Is that right? Pendleton.
All right, we got 1 for Pendleton. Anybody else want to answer? J-Bo, what you think? You're looking all stoic.
J-Bo's
I
I know
I can see
guns.
his face.
I know the guns. I've seen the guns, but I can't remember who manned them.
Well, that is correct, AS. Brigadier General William Nelson Pendleton was an ordained Episcopal rector. He named him Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He later became Chief of Artillery for the entire Army of Northern Virginia. And when he graduated West Point before answering the call to the Lord, he was used to old artillery and was not used to rifled guns. And there are a lot of people who fault him or fault Robert E. Lee for putting him in command of the Army of Northern Virginia's artillery because he wasn't familiar with the new stuff. But yes, so AS, you get a point. All right, let's find another one. One that J-Bo should know.
No, y'all go on. I just got off the phone with the commander in chief, so
Oh, and how's he doing?
he is doing well. We're talking about an event coming up on October 10th.
If it's the unveiling of the monument and the soft opening, we've already pushed that.
Yes,
So that's when we'll be giving out.
we're buttoning up all the details.
All right, let's find a good one. All right, Harrison, you're not allowed to answer this because I already asked this to you before the stream even began. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay. On January 19th, 1862, what nearsighted former congressman and newspaper editor was killed at Mill Springs, Kentucky, his first and only battle?
Zollicoffer.
Zollicoffer.
You just gonna nod? You gonna answer?
No, Felix Zollicoffer.
Yeah, that's a shout out to unofficial shout out to the Jag there, because he's from the Longstreet Zollicoffer camp.
That's right. And
A shout out to Murray County. He's from Columbia.
Bingo.
Oh, did not know that. Hey,
Oh.
add that to the tour map.
I already add Sam Watkins to the tour and push his book. I should get
Wow,
royalties from Sam.
We need to get the recorded version that Cartwright did. Oh, speaking of J-Bo, whenever we do the Battle of Franklin one, do you think you could hook us up with Cartwright?
Yeah, be happy to.
All right, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Are y'all actually talking about doing that live, like from a location like Winstead Hill?
That'd be
we
cool.
we very well may.
Mm-hmm. Because
Yeah.
the Winstead Hill is owned by an SCV camp,
That's right.
the
Okay.
Sam Davis Camp 1293.
All right, this one should be easy, so save the answer till I finish. But I think that the second part of this question is or third part of this question is kind of weird. What general habitually sucked lemons, spoke in a voice so shrill it seemed feminine, and napped before battle?
Do you want us to answer it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can answer now.
Jackson.
Stonewall Jackson.
Jackson.
I did not know that he had a shrill voice.
Yep. Who else did? That was a World War II general.
Patton.
Oh, that was Patton. Um, what brigadier general, a Baptist minister, participated in a religious revival in 1864, baptizing more than 50 soldiers?
What was his rank?
He was a brigadier general.
When in 64?
It doesn't say, it just says 64.
Okay. Because I don't know
And
who it is, so I'm
he was a Baptist minister, so it was not Polk.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mark Perrin
Comments?
Lowry.
Who?
Mark Perrin Lowry. Or Lowry, sorry, Lowry.
Lowry.
L-O-W-E. Yeah, Lowry. L-O-W-R-E-Y. Lowry.
Lowry.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Trying to find a good one. Let's get through the fighting men of the U.S. really quickly.
Growing up the U.S. people, I don't know any of them.
There's not a lot of famous U.S. generals, though, during that time period. I mean, you had Grant, Sherman, Sheridan,
Thomas.
Little Mac,
Yeah, Hooker.
Hooker,
Studied the American side.
Benjamin Butler.
It's been
Yeah,
years. First my Confederate history as well.
In 1863, what duly elected governor was prevented from being inaugurated because the state capital was occupied by federal troops?
What year?
In 63,
63.
I bet it was a Tennessee.
Isham Harris. Isham Harris
It was not Harris.
was not Harris because he was elected in 62, but he would have been sworn in 63, and they were already under occupation. So no, it wouldn't have been him. Okay. Kentucky.
Well, I'm willing to bet that he. Well, it is a Tennessee governor, but it's not Harris.
Do I get half a point for guessing it was a Tennessee governor?
I'll give you the.
Bale.
That's your hint. It was
Bale.
not John Bell.
Not John Bale. Okay. He's buried at Mount Olivet Cemetery. I can tell where he's buried. I can't think of his name.
Right to his headstone, really quickly. Just go drive to his headstone really quickly.
We'll
No,
wait.
that take,
We'll wait for you.
it'd take a little while to get to Nashville.
We believe you, J-Bo. Speed limit's only a suggestion.
Again, the views and opinions expressed on this show are not the views and opinions of the National Sons of Confederate Veterans or any subsidiaries, only those who express them.
Pulled over one
Still
day.
going to appreciate that.
Yeah, Isham Harris was elected in 60. He was run out in 62. It wasn't, who won?
All right, so
it ain't coming to me.
we give up.
Anybody in the chat answered it?
Anybody in the chat answer?
No, sir. Not yet.
Robert L. Carruthers.
Carruthers.
Wow. Probably, because the state was split, he was elected by the eastern half.
Yeah. Oh, then that guy is not buried at Mount Olivet. That can't think of who I'm thinking of. Never mind.
All right, here should be an easy one. What Ohio native and minstrel show performer composed Dixie while living in New York City? What
You
Yankee
answer,
wrote
Connor.
Oh, well, that's not fair because A, I already know it, and B, I'm looking at the book.
Yeah.
He is the facilitator.
I'm the Alex Trebek in this situation.
You're more like a Pat Sajak.
The
I'll
name's
take
not
that.
going to come to me.
Daniel.
I
Emmett.
don't know.
I've got no idea.
Daniel Decatur Emmett.
Hey,
Yeah, him.
answer from the chat. Camp 1321 again. Thank you for your answer, and you are correct. He said he legit sent it right before you said the answer too.
Wow.
What famous Confederate leader was blind in one eye?
What?
What famous Confederate leader was blind in one eye due to having malaria in his younger life?
How famous?
Very famous.
Give us a hint.
You're putting up a statue to him.
Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis.
Now,
Yeah,
I'll give
1321
every.
Jefferson Davis again as well.
I will give everyone a point for that because I gave it a little bit too easy of a. All right. This is a personal favorite one of mine. Who was the only Jewish member of the Confederate cabinet, any cabinet on the North American continent? He served as our first Attorney General, our second Secretary of War, our third Secretary of State, and he was the only member of the Confederate cabinet who, at the time of the war, did not own a single slave.
Judah Benjamin.
Judah P. Benjamin.
Judah B. Benjamin.
Mm-hmm. I'm
And
so
third-
happy I get to go.
got it
Visit,
again.
I get to go visit his house in this upcoming national reunion. Excuse me.
Shout out to Camp 1321. They have gotten the past, I think, 3 questions correct before we set them, or around the same time. And they've also got a question correct before then. So if they were in points, Matt, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah, well, they're not, so I'm not in trouble. How about that?
All right, here's a good one. Why was the death of Brigadier General Benjamin Hardin Hilm, CSA, mourned in the federal White House?
Repeat that.
He was
How was he kin to somebody? But why was the death of Brigadier General Benjamin Hardin Hilm, CSA, mourned in the White House?
He
You
wasn't
can just
Mary
say
Todd
him.
Lincoln's brother, was he?
Not
Half
brother.
brother. Not brother. I know he's some kin to Mary Todd Lincoln, but
Not out, but
what
what's the
now?
opposite of out? What's the opposite of out?
And
Brother.
Brother-in-law.
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 I said Abraham Lincoln's
Yeah.
brother-in-law.
Yeah. I believe he commanded the Orphan Brigade. Was one of their leaders and got killed.
I request
All right.
that a ref go back to the footage.
All right.
I said I
Well, I
request-
gave you the point. I gave you the point. All right. What pro-union newspaper editor, a Reconstruction governor and U.S. senator from Tennessee, had his official portrait in the state capitol besmirched with tobacco spit by former Confederate legislatures?
Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson.
Who is
No?
it, J-Bo?
Is it not?
He ran the paper over there. Can't think of his name.
He had a nickname. I'll give you the nickname.
Okay,
Parson. Parson.
yeah, Parson Brownlow.
Ugh.
Correct.
Where are we at in the points?
Right now, points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
13-12 is winning.
And 13 is winning.
Matt's winning. But yeah,
Matt is
13-12
winning so far. Matt is winning so far with 11 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for AS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the producer. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for J-Bo. I'm trying to find some harder ones now. What was the maiden name of the First Lady of the Confederacy?
How?
Wow. Can't 1321 beat you to it.
Just now?
Yeah, you already said how.
Wow.
Yeah, Verena Howell.
He knows
Yeah.
his stuff.
Her maiden name, she was a Howell. Yeah.
He married a Tyler the first time, didn't he?
Yeah, Zachary Tyler's daughter. And he was not happy with that. He didn't want her to marry a military man and didn't want anybody, didn't like Jefferson Davis's ambition. Anyway, he was really in love with her. They were married for maybe 3 months. That's when they caught the malaria and he went blind. He almost died. He got well enough to go to her deathbed. And eventually married Marina, who was, I think, like almost 20 years his junior.
Then on their honeymoon, he took her to his first wife's grave. I remember reading that.
Yeah.
Hey, ask
What's
1321
firm?
if they're in Upper Dixie.
I already told him that.
Yeah. What firm unionist who was appointed military governor of Tennessee became the 17th president of the United States?
Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson.
There we go. Because y'all were so adamant about answering that for Parson Brownlow.
Matt, they said yes.
Yeah, okay.
Michigan.
Yep. All right.
Now let's go into transportation and communication.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Donkeys.
Fix it out here, boys.
Is that going to be your answer for everything there, Matt?
Donkeys.
Donkeys.
Where'd the best meals come from?
Murray County.
That's right.
Whom did Robert E. Lee call the eyes of the Army?
Jeb Stewart.
Jeb Stewart.
Yeah.
Catching up to you, Matt.
You're already getting beat in the chat.
Yeah, well,
Excuse
got it.
me.
Not only that, but I'm getting beat by folks from Upper Dixie. Send it.
They said don't hate Matt.
How many copies of Lee's Special Order number 91, the famous lost order, reached their destination safely?
10.
Four.
Don't.
1.
We've got
Everybody says
one.
4. I'll say 2.
And anybody else? Anybody else?
I'm gonna go to 5.
You were the closest then. 6.
Mm.
That doesn't mean you get a point, dummy.
They said the price is right.
Yeah. Closest without going over.
Yes.
All right.
That's exactly what rules we need to go to.
How did Lieutenant General Richard Taylor manage to sleep while traveling cross country?
How did he manage to sleep while traveling across country?
Mhm.
Like this?
All right.
He closed his eye.
What mode of transportation did Richard
Train.
Taylor use?
Train.
Right?
All right, I got train.
Wagon.
I'm going to say wagon.
All right, I'm gonna need a little bit
It's
more
really impressive to say
specific than
horseback.
wagon.
A special wagon.
Special.
Ambulance.
An ambulance.
All right, he slept
Yeah,
in an
he did in
ambulance.
an ambulance. He did in an ambulance, yes.
Trained by pulled mules.
There it is.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. There have
Those
been many times in the field where I've slept in ambulances.
and where did the
They got
mules
air
come from?
conditioning.
All right.
That's right, he did ride in an ambulance. Guess I was thinking post-war.
What notable Confederate strategists typically refused to inform top aides about forthcoming movements?
Stonewall Jackson.
Bragg.
Correct.
Go Jackson.
No, it's Braxton Bragg. He didn't tell anybody anything.
Well, that's because he didn't know what was going on himself. Jackson did it on purpose. And
Yeah.
keyword Confederate strategist.
Oh, yeah. That
Again,
was a key word. He didn't say
Views and
Confederate.
opinions.
That's why I didn't think Bragg.
Views and opinions expressed on the program are just of us, not the SCV.
That's right.
I'm sure there's somebody out there that likes Bragg.
Who is this person? I wanna
Mostly
meet him.
Yankees.
I want to meet this person.
Mostly
They're
Yankees.
Yankees.
Blah 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 blah. These are stuff that I wouldn't even get as when I'm skipping over. What was the farthest northern city that came under attack from the Confederate military or Confederate forces? I'll put it that way.
What was the
Ohio.
town they tried to set on fire? There was a town in
What town
Uh,
did
Yeah.
Is there one in New York?
it was in the Confederates went in through Canada. I can't think of what town it was though.
That's close. You're close.
I thought it was up in New Hampshire.
It's close. It's not New Hampshire, but it is a northern state. And it is
Right
in
there.
New England. It is in New England.
They didn't make it all the way into Maine, did they?
Connecticut.
No,
Vermont.
this group did not make it into Maine. It is Vermont. It is in Vermont. What town
That's
in
what I
Vermont?
thought. Yeah. Shoot, I've watched a movie about this. I can't remember. They made a motion picture out of it
Yeah.
back in the
Their
day.
picture shows.
I think Camp 1321 has the answer again.
All right.
What'd they say?
What is it?
St. Albans.
St. Albans, Vermont. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Thank you,
Yeah, they
Matt.
made it up there.
Thank
Now,
you,
the,
1321.
1321's all over it, man.
There, I can't remember which boat he was on, but Savez Reed, who won the Confederate Medal of Honor, the SCV Confederate Medal of Honor, he did raid all the way up on the coastline to Maine, but that was
Yeah.
on the coast. Do
We're running out of questions. It's about time to wrap it up if
Yeah.
you want.
We're not running out of questions. I've got a book full. I'm on page 103. I'm just trying to find stuff that I know we would know. Ba, ba, ba.
I did not know that Camp 1321.
That.
There's St. Albans in West Virginia.
Huh.
And I was in West Virginia. That's a shame I didn't know that.
West Virginia's
Well,
an
West
illegal
Virginia's
state.
an illegal state.
It's an illegal state. That's going to be the new thing. We're just going to joke on poor West Virginia.
Fact, West Virginia's an illegal state. Fact, Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
We have made MS's dream come true on this stream tonight.
How's that?
You finally got to say Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
It is my favorite TV show of all time.
We legit talked about that at the first stream, before the first stream, that you wanted to say that.
Bears
And
beat-
and we did another episode that he loved. I can't remember which one it was. Where did the first Confederate Congress meet? Just don't need. I just need the city and the state.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery. What'd you get for trying to know stuff? What was the first Native American tribe to declare its loyalty to the Confederacy?
Cherokee.
Anybody else want to guess?
Was it the Choctaw?
I'm going to guess Choctaw.
Anybody else want to guess?
If it wasn't the Cherokee, it was a Creek.
It was the Choctaws who passed such a resolution on February 7th, 1861, before the Confederacy was even really founded.
The only reason I know that is because I did the research on their flag. All the way back with
Well, you need to do some more research.
That was the episode that you wanted, was Fun with Flags.
Yep.
The crewmen
I
of
did the
what
Choctaw
ship?
flag.
The crewmen of what ship were first considered to be, or were the first to be considered guilty of piracy? Confederate ship.
Alabama.
Alabama.
Sounds like something that would happen in Alabama.
Jabo, you want to answer?
I don't think it's Alabama. But no, I don't know. I don't think it's Alabama though.
Rhett
It's not
Butler
the
ship.
Alabama. It was
Hmm?
the Savannah.
The Savannah.
Savannah.
Mhm.
Wow. I just saw it sounded like something that would happen to the Alabama. Let's be honest.
Hey, them boys went all over the place, man.
Oh, they did. They did.
CSS Alabama was everywhere.
They let their presence be known.
Somehow in Murray County, Tennessee. What was the name of Robert E. Lee's beloved horse, now memorialized, and what will
Traveler.
no longer
Traveler.
Yeah. Gave y'all an easy one.
I visited Traveler's Grave. That was a very awesome day. Got apples all beside it.
What was
And
Stonewall
pennies
Jackson's
upside
name?
Little
Little
Sorrel.
Sorrel.
Little Sorrel.
What was Bedford Forrest's favorite horse's name?
Roderick.
Roderick.
That was King Philip.
He's on King Philip on his statue, but Roderick was the one that hurt him the most when Roderick got killed. Thompson Station.
Hey,
And there's a
Elmo.
horse statue there if you know where to look.
Yep.
There's a camp there called Roderick's Warhorse Camp too.
Yep.
What special
Roderick
name
actually
did
came to
you,
town.
What special name did Union force or Union troops fighting in the South give diarrhea? What was their nickname for diarrhea?
Scars.
The Trots.
The Scars.
Trot.
The trot.
I'll accept the trots, but according to the book, it was the Tennessee Quick Step.
Trot.
Tennessee Trot, yeah.
Uh, do, 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 do.
Let's see, are we tied? Or what are
Well,
we looking like? It's close to our quitting time here.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 for MDS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Sorry, I had to take care of Chief stuff.
Poor Chief.
All right, last question. What's the score?
I think we need to keep this between MS and AS, the battle of the wits.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
last
tell you
question.
what,
Give us a good one.
our last question gets it. You sure? You sure? Because I was going to ask. I was going to ask 6 more questions. 6 more
I
questions.
want to know what the
okay?
points are. What's the points?
Yeah, what's the points?
14, 17, 8, and 7.
For who's
What?
17?
14
Those
math.
guys.
17's AS.
Oh,
Oh,
a come from behind
come
victory.
back. The comeback.
So,
Comeback kid.
like I said, I can ask a few more questions. Go first to 20 if y'all want to between those two. Y'all tell me.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's just knock it out.
All right. First to 20 then. Da, 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 da. Trying to find some good ones. No, I'm gonna get out of the numbers.
What do you say I have? 14?
All right. Yes, 14.
You cheated me.
After losing 5,000 men in one, all right, this is the question. After losing 5,000 men in a day, but claiming a win, what general wrote that God has been kind to us this day?
Jackson.
Sounds like some hood would say.
Jackson was correct. All right.
Matt's keeping his own score.
All right. He wants this. He wants this W. He wants this W bad.
What's it
I'm
bad?
a very competitive person.
All right. When Robert E. Lee's hands were severely injured, how did he stay on his horse Traveler?
When
He was
his
tied in the
hands were-
saddle.
Yeah, with his spurs.
He didn't.
He didn't. That's a trick question. I
Yeah,
like
he
trick
rode in an
questions.
ambulance.
Ba-dum-bum.
All right. Okay? In what state did the engagement of Coffeyville take place?
Tennessee.
Engagement of what?
Coffeyville.
Coffeyville. Georgia, I don't know.
Mississippi, April 4th, 1862.
Mississippi history isn't
I'd have missed-
important.
Just for that, I hope you lose.
Sometimes
Even I
referred to as
missed
the
that
battle-
one.
AS, I hope.
Sometimes referred.
Attaboy, Chief.
Chief Camp.
Sometimes referred to as the Battle of Guntown or Tishomingo Creek. What did the Federals call an April 1864 engagement in Mississippi?
He's going to ask Mississippi trivia
This guy
now
done went to Mississippi questions.
You damn Skippy, I am.
because of what AS said. He should know better.
J-Bo left.
It
We-
still doesn't matter.
Yes,
Still
it
doesn't
does.
matter.
'Cause it was Bedford Forrest's best victory.
Oh, Parker's Crossroads.
In Mississippi.
I mean, yeah.
He didn't have any good fights in Mississippi.
Yes, he did.
Yes, you did.
I'm just bothering y'all.
He was just trying to get out of Mississippi.
I don't know.
I hope
really
you both lose your internet connection, or I'm about to kick both of you out.
Bryce's Crossroads.
I know where you live.
Not in Oxford. I'll kick you out, and I won't have any shame.
I'll DNR you tomorrow. So
Yeah. Yeah, you want to play that game?
End up with Grizzard. All
I
right.
don't know the answer.
J-Bo had a
Bryce
phone
was
call. He had
crossroads.
to leave.
Huh?
J-Bo had a phone
Was
call.
Bryce-
He had to leave.
It was the Bryce's Crossroads battle.
I don't want either of y'all to win now, but y'all the closest one.
What Confederate river bastion held out for months against combined 47 days to be exact. Combined
Vicksburg.
Army and Navy. Okay.
What?
I still wish you
he
lose
got
that.
it.
How did you get it? I didn't even get a chance to answer it. That's BS.
Make fun of
Game's
Mr.
rigged.
Okay, okay.
Make
I'm
fun
just
of
kidding.
You see
Go
what
ahead. He's got 18. I got 16. I'm keeping track.
Anybody's
Go.
game.
All right. What Confederate general serving as a U.S. Army engineer before the war helped design Fort Pulaski, Georgia, and other
Robert E.
installations?
Lee. Robert E. Lee.
You got it out first, Adam.
Adam, you gotta catch up. I mean, Adam, Matt, you gotta catch up. He's one away now.
What are you talking about? He's one
No,
away.
no.
I got to have a 4 him. He's 2 away. I'm 3 away.
No, me and Connor took an executive vote, and we decided.
You
that-
don't get an executive vote. That's not allowed.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. After 5 men led by CSA guerrilla William C. Cantrell were accidentally killed while locked up in a Kansas City jail, Kansas City warehouse, how did Quantrell get revenge?
Burnt Lawrence, Kansas to the ground.
Yep. Should be getting close to a tie.
MS is coming up.
It's 17-18.
The fall of
I'm
what
19.
city in April 2nd of 1865 spelled the collapse of the interior of the Confederacy?
I didn't hear the question.
The fall of what city on April 2nd, 1865
Richmond.
spelled the collapse
Richmond.
of the interior of the Confederacy?
Petersburg.
Both are. I want to give. You want to change your answer, Adam? Last chance.
Richmond.
Now go ahead and give it to him.
No, neither of y'all got it right.
Oh.
Oh, shoot.
What is it?
MS is going to.
I don't know.
Selma, Alabama.
The hint there was the interior of the Confederacy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. No, I'm not gonna give that one. By what name did soldiers on leave in Washington often designate faded and aging prostitutes?
Dead rabbits.
You played up.
Correct.
You played up to that. You know what you did, GCB.
You shut your mouth. You
No, you snitched on me. I'm gonna snitch on you. He already knew the answer.
Shut your mouth.
Cheaters.
Hush.
Cheaters.
Hush. The game should now be tied.
It is tied.
MS is a cheater.
You're a cheater.
Cheaters. I
Listen.
should get a point for cheating.
Hey, man, I had an
Hey,
NCO once
man.
tell me if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
A Methodist log meeting house whose name meant place of peace.
Shiloh.
Shiloh.
Adam wins.
Shallow.
No, you're at 19. You're at 19. We still have one more.
I was at
All right.
19 a minute ago.
Oh, you were when we started sudden death, you were at 17. All right. One of the five
GCB
Confederate generals killed. One of the five Confederate generals killed in the Battle of Franklin, Tennessee. What was his most unusual name?
State rights gist.
Tied game again.
What? How's it tied again?
Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 1919.
Oh, that was 2019.
You just had 19 beforehand.
Yeah, I
Just
won
had
with
19.
Shiloh.
We just had 19 tied.
No, according to my
Oh.
calculations, I won with Shiloh.
He won with shallow.
All right, last question. What was the term fighting men called the gold braid on an officer's coat?
Chicken guts.
Yep.
He's the winner.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed Back Again.
He's a winner
Thanks,
because of
CIC.
I will be taking my day off tomorrow. I'll see you on Wednesday.
That was
Just
not,
for hey, everybody, just for this, Matt gets to clean out warehouses for the rest of the week.
Hey, I'm
that's
not
your
cleaning
prize,
out that
buddy.
one cross with all the snakes in it. I might burn that thing down.
You're going to start with that one.
No, I'm not going in there. That
Well,
was a
guys,
I enjoyed it.
yeah,
That was a lot of fun, y'all.
We will definitely have another trivia night at some point in the future. This was a lot of fun. I've got a couple more trivia books with different questions.
check
So
the
tune in
chat.
next. Yeah, so tune in again next week. Next week we're actually gonna have a topic. I don't know what our topic is. What's the date for next week's episode?
Next week episode is the
Date.
28th.
I need the date. 28th. Okay, we need to come up with a topic for next. I think next week's episode. Because we're getting close to him being up on his pedestal, how about we talk about the president next week?
Yeah, let's talk about Jeff Davis.
Talk about Jefferson Davis.
Why
Not
don't
the
y'all go
dog,
down and do a live episode from Beauvoir?
because
Jefferson
I'm down
Davis
there
on
now.
the 10th episode.
So yeah, next week we'll talk about the one and only president of the Confederacy. Week after that, we're going to talk about the boy hero of the Confederacy, Sam Davis. So we go Jeff Davis, Sam Davis, no relations, and then after that we'll do the episode on the museum. So please remember that the giveaway is still going on. If you want to win, all you have to do is email the email address that the producer put in the chat earlier. I'll ask him to go ahead and put it in there. Check us out on some of our past episodes on YouTube. The YouTube information should be out there. And as usual, guys, remember, no FUMAR
No Fumar in the elevator.
in the elevator.
On the elevator.
Have a great